Hey, it's the Brian and Kendra Show. We're here today to talk about real estate in our small town, Woodward, America.
Snakes?
Nope.
Oh.
That's not this show.
That
Maybe
wasn't
the
the
next
show?
show.
We're not talking about snakes on this one?
Nope.
mean,
Not
We
trying
should
to
have
run
talked
into one.
about snakes on the home inspection show.
We should have, because how many home inspectors have
You know.
visitors?
You know, because right when we were beginning to record, the guy that's working on underneath my house today sends us a little snake picture.
Exactly.
You know that those home inspectors have had a million encounters with
Yeah.
snakes. I'm a lot more freaked out about under the house skunks.
Huh.
Oh.
I'm more of a, I don't
Yeah.
know, just the thought of a spider crawling down the back of my neck.
Well, I don't do tight spaces, so none of this really applies to me. I mean, I'm not even going in the basement, y'all.
It's like the last basement we went to on Main Street and I had to take that
I
stick.
didn't. Oh my gosh,
And
that
I-
was horrifying.
I mean, you couldn't even, there's so many spider webs, you couldn't even see down the hole.
that basement looked like
And I
a
thought-
horror movie.
Have you seen Arachnophobia, the movie? I need to show my kid that movie. She'll never sleep again.
I don't know why Cecily has any issues with anxiety.
Oh my
All right.
gosh.
Okay. So we are the Brian and Kendra Show. We have.
Talk about anxiety.
Uh-huh.
Watching Nathan look at other people's photos.
Woof.
Well.
No, that'll get us
They
started.
sneezed when they took that one?
They use their iPhone 6
Ooh.
with a cracked screen. So, hey, that's what we're doing today. We're talking about real estate photography, which is a very important aspect of marketing. Good pictures will draw in a buyer. If you don't have good pictures, you could lose your buyer very quickly. I mean, they could be a turnoff.
I think it's a perceived value. You
Yes.
know? So if it's kind of like the whole chair analogy. You pick up a chair, it's super light. You're like, oh, this is great. You pick up the same chair, it has a weight taped underneath it. And it's like, oh, wow, this is a really nice chair. This is heavy. It's, you could have a home that honestly, like it might be hard to sell, or you might have a beautiful home, but then maybe your market for that home is smaller because maybe it's more expensive. And my job as the photographer is to help get people there, because oftentimes there's no perfect home, but oftentimes having those scroll-worthy photos might get you a call.
Yes.
And so what people are doing nowadays, I mean, the days of the buyer's guide is gone. Nobody's really flipping through a newspaper or anything to look. I'm so sorry. Don't get triggered. If you're watching this, you probably don't even know what a buyer's guide is. Welcome. Before Zillow, they had magazines where they'd put pictures. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
The point is that because of our digital age, anything that's in print is just basically outdated by the time you get it printed.
It is.
So it's so hard with a buyer's guide, with a magazine, like to send in the properties, here's everything. And then whenever you get to read it, you're like, that one under contract. That's closed already. Oh my gosh.
Which is kind of defeating if you're
Oh, man,
if you're
it's so
really
discouraging.
if you're excited about looking for a home, if you're needing to buy a home,
Right.
it defeats the purpose. And so tools like Zillow or Realtor.com, things like that, where you can sit on your couch, watch a movie, be thumbing through a bunch of photos. And here's the thing.
Exactly.
So I do this with Airbnb. Let's take Airbnb, for example. Same kind of a deal. I will actually look at a property based on the cover image I see. I won't actually look and see like, oh, is this in a greater location, anything like that. I'm going to say like, I'm actually going to look and see surface value. Did these people care enough to have good photos taken of their property? If they did, chances are I'm probably going to be taken care of when I stay there.
Okay, let's rewind a hot minute real quick. Let's introduce you again. You've been on the show
Oh,
before.
yeah. Yep.
You're Nathan Holliday.
Yes, ma'am.
You are story. Yes, ma'am. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, I'll pay you later. Okay, so you are StoryCo,
Yes.
but you also we had Chris Castor on a few weeks ago, and so you and he is. What did we decide that he was? A cinemator.
Cinemator.
That's right.
I mean, he is an award-winning cinematographer, and you and Nathan co-op a lot on
Yes.
different
Chris and I
things.
co-op a lot.
What did I say, Nathan?
Yes.
My bad.
It's okay.
Because still,
Ma'am.
I still haven't finished
Yes.
this, and this is my energy water.
I mean, we're recording this like the Tuesday after Labor Day, and so we're all still catching up.
It's like Monday-ish.
Oh
yeah,
my
Monday, Tuesday.
gosh. Oh, I thought it was Monday. I was able to say, well, thank God it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I wanted to just bring that up real quick. And who you are, what you do. You've been doing marketing, and you've been doing photography for a long time. Like, you have this skill set. You now work in our office to do
Yes.
this for us. And so I think all of our photos at this point are coming, all of our Newsling photos are coming from you.
Yes.
We might mix a couple of other ones in from our Matterport system, which is our virtual tour system. But you do the majority of our pictures. And really, I think that, like, you can tell, the ones that feel warm and homey are Nathan. Period. Like, that's the way that it works. So now that we know who you are, now that we know your background, now that we
Yes.
know why you're telling us,
Yes.
tell us, what do we do? So you see things differently. This whole show comes out because the other day we were talking about one of the properties that we have listed, and you went to take pictures, and you said, everything looks so differently through my vision as a photographer than it does through other people's. Why?
Well, so it comes back to, I mean, if you guys listened to last week's episode of home inspections, home inspectors see things and look for things differently than the average person does. I saw a meme the other day that was like, as far as home inspectors goes, it was a picture of a family, and the guy's tooth was missing, and he also had his eyebrow missing, but that's not what you were drawn to first. And it was like, you need a home inspector because you might have seen the missing tooth, but the inspector saw the missing eyebrow. It's like, you need a real estate photographer because, you might have seen that the toilet seat was left up, but you didn't realize that all the lights in the bathroom were all different color temperatures.
Right.
Holy cow. It makes a huge difference because and it's kind of hard to describe to people, like, taking good photos, like, that's not just with your iPhone, like the work that kind of goes into that. And honestly, like, whenever you have something as simple as different colored lights in a room, it makes it really hard. Our eyes are actually incredibly, they're incredible at being able to adapt like the colors of light and the spectrum that we can actually see. Interpreting those
Right.
colors, we have to work really hard to make cameras do that. And so, I mean, let's just get into it. Like, just different things that you can do to make your home photo ready.
Where to begin?
One of those things is make sure that you replace your lights. I mean, if you've got lights that are out in your bathroom, things like that, take a trip to Walmart. You don't even have to buy the nice, fancy lights. I personally like daylight balance, so like 5,500 Kelvin, something like that. It looks really nice because the reason is, if I'm shooting into the interior of a room and I see a window, typically on a sunny day, the temperature of the light coming in is going to be around 5,500 Kelvin. So versus having a really warm light on the interior and this really light daylight balance coming from the window, what's going to happen is I use bracketed exposures, which means I'm taking 3 to 5 different pictures at the same time. What's going to happen is it's going to stack those colors on each other. And so anything that's warm is going to look orange.
Right.
And I have to do a lot of color correction in post, or I have to go, if different rooms have different light bulb colors, I have to change the Kelvin temperature on my camera between each room. And it's a part of my job. Not complaining, but if you want your photos to look that much better,
Consistent.
you use daylight balanced lights. Like, honestly, it's going to make your home look brighter. It's going to make it look more inviting. Gone are the days of dark, dingy, 80s feeling homes where you want it to be dark. Like, everybody wants to see bright now.
Right.
That's the trend. And so 5,500 Kelvin daylight balanced lights, if you don't know what that is, ask somebody at Walmart. They might know. And if they don't know, just look for the thing there's a label on the light bulbs that says daylight. Get those.
Daylight bulbs. Got it.
Daylight
okay,
bulbs.
Step 1, make sure all the bulbs are the same.
Yes.
Same temperature, same. And that will help you as a photographer, but also just helps give the home a consistent feel.
Oh, big time.
What's next?
So, and that's actually a super picky thing. I would say and this kind of goes back to getting your home. There was a few episodes ago that we did. We talked about decluttering your home, or almost like if you're wanting to sell it, to depersonalize a bit while you're in the selling process, because it's just like the fact is people are not creative people.
Right.
And it's hard for them to picture their life inside of yours. And so, but one of the things is family photos that are on easily removable, anything that's on like a bookshelf or on the fridge, especially photos of kids, even for security purposes. Think about this.
Right.
Like, this is a big deal. Like, I don't want to take photos of your kitchen with your 5 kids plastered on your fridge with their teacher's name on it, so somebody could go through Zillow and be like, oh, they have 5 kids. They go to Cedar Heights. Great. Like,
It's
that's a big deal.
terrifying.
That's
Absolutely
a big deal.
terrifying.
Like, hide your kids.
I remember
You know?
saying that some years ago when photography began to get so much better, and we were doing some pictures of a particular house, and I said, listen, I'm not posting all of these. It was before we were able to do the face blur on our Matterport system. I said, everybody that sees these is going to know that you have 3 kids. They're all blonde haired. They're all blue eyed. They're all, I mean, like it was so perfect. And the quality of our photographs today, it's not safe.
It's really
So
not.
get rid of those. Hide
Yeah.
them. Put them
Yeah.
away.
And the primary reason is you want your potential buyer to be able to see themselves in your home and not yourself in what could be their home.
Right.
Secondary. We just
Secondary.
want you to be safe.
Security. And it's weird, and I know, but it's temporary.
It's not, because we're putting, I mean, it's not weird in the respect that we're taking strangers through your home, but more so, we're putting your home on the internet for millions and millions and millions of strangers to see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we hope. I mean, here, it's like, thousands,
Yeah, these
maybe.
tens of hundreds.
Hundreds
Yes.
and hundreds and hundreds.
Well, so let's talk about that too. So the value of professional photos is the chance that your home is going to be viewed, I would say, doubles or triples based on the fact that you have good looking photos. Because what people are doing is they are scrolling through Zillow, and then they see something that looks good and they stop. And then they'll scroll through a couple times, and then they're going to say, oh, well, it's in my price range, because they can see the price right away. I wonder what the
Right.
other information is. Right. So my job is to get them to stop and scroll through the photos, see if it'll fit for them, and see if they're interested. So the other thing that people can do is, so obviously replacing all your lights, making sure they're similar temperatures. I know some things are high up in other houses, and it's kind of difficult, but it's worth it. The other thing is making sure like your blinds aren't broken.
I have a picture in
Crooked,
my mind
weird.
of where the dog has gotten into the blinds, and
Just remove the blinds.
that's just in the front room.
like if it's a huge deal, just take the blind down, and depending on what window it's on. What I typically do is I'll open up the blinds 3/4 of the way to let some light in, but not all the light in. But if they look bad, I will just open those suckers, because nobody wants to see junky blinds.
Right.
It's a little detail.
And it now becomes the missing tooth.
Big time. They miss the whole room because your blinds look sun-worn and melted and faded and weird. Go to Walmart, spend $20, get some blinds, things like that.
It's the 5 hours you spend in the kitchen mastering your famous recipe or spending quality time with your family. Other insurance companies may just see it as a house. It's not just a house, it's your home. Hi, I'm State Farm Agent Kevin Kanzler, and I see your home as the time and memories you put into them. I understand what your things really mean to you, and I'm here to help give them the protection they deserve. My office is located on the corner of 13th and Oklahoma in Woodward, or call me at 580-256-2216 for your home insurance today.
On Point Land Survey can take care of all your residential, commercial, and industrial survey needs. This family-owned and operated business proudly serves Northwest Oklahoma. These lifelong Northwest Oklahoma residents with over 22 years of experience are ready to serve you with the latest equipment and capable trucks to get your job done. Call On Point Land Survey today at 580-256-6757 or stop by 1918 Main Street in Woodward, Oklahoma, or visit their website at onpointlandsurveyok.com. Professional, trusted, local.
What else? So we're going to talk about this too. Your guns.
What? Northwest Oklahoma people have guns?
I'm so sorry.
Why is that your problem?
I am
If
not
you get ambushed
touching
while you're taking pictures,
your
you
guns.
have access.
Those are there for your safety.
I don't know about that. There's this thing called fingerprints that stick to everything, and I'm not putting my fingerprints on your weapon because I don't know you. I don't know what you just did with that gun. No, anyway, so in all seriousness, like, home safety's great. You know, we all have our opinions about guns and stuff. I have guns. They're fine. But nobody wants to know where you keep it. It goes back to security, really. So somebody's scrolling through Zillow and they're like, I'm looking for a house to rob. Oh, here's the 3D tour. Great. Let me just get the layout of the home. And, oh, that's where they keep that gun. Noted. Like, not good.
Seriously. I know it's about photography, but it always goes back to safety. And,
Big time.
And when we're showing properties, it's a huge fear. How many times have we showed properties and we see handgun on the bedside table? We've got like a 6-year-old.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It is absolutely terrifying.
Oh, my gosh.
You probably trained your kids well,
Yeah.
but you don't know if they're like pacifists and have never even seen a gun before. Look, mommy, a toy. Oh my gosh.
Well,
It's
and that's
terrible.
the other thing. Like,
Not right now.
not everybody has the same opinion about that, and so like you could get a family in there that just is
Right, appalled.
anti-gun or appalled, or they didn't grow up around it, so they're scared. Maybe they're not from around this area,
Right.
And so they see a gun and they're like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! I don't even want to look at the room." Like it could happen.
Legit.
Like
Yes, 100%.
So you want to just put those away.
Yes.
Like, there's been times where I actually photographed one home, and it was a smaller master bedroom, and there was an AR just sitting right there. And I'm like, I can blur some of this out, but I am not touching that.
Right.
And it was actually a difficult listing to photograph anyway, so I didn't even, like, worry about telling the sellers. I was just going to deal with it in post. But that's not always the case.
Right.
Like, there's that huge listing I shot in Mutual, and it was
They had like a gun room.
the Hunter's Paradise. They probably had $250,000 worth of guns in this room. And I'm like, shut that door. Not even going to photograph it. Because the wife was like, I'm so sorry.
You got to step over them to get to the water
I told them
heater.
they should have moved them, and I guess this was their way of organizing. But, you know, I was like, it's
They
okay.
showcased them.
Yeah.
It was okay. It's great. These are actually really nice. But I'm not even going to photograph these. I don't want a record of them.
No.
You know, so that's just a thing. You know, yeah, hide your guns.
What else?
So I do a lot of aerial photography as well.
Yes.
And this is something that, I mean, you can't really hide stuff very well with
Nope.
aerial photography. I have to get creative with angles sometimes. And honestly, some homes I just don't photograph. Or when you guys order the pictures, like, we're not going to do aerials with this because the neighbor's home. Or
Right.
this extra location, or like we don't really need them. Or it's going to sell fast, so like we just need something to get it on the MLS.
And sometimes it's just not appropriate. I mean, a normal lot and block standard property in the middle of town, it's not one that we're going to drone. It's not necessary. It's pretty, we understand what that one's going to look like.
Yeah.
What we really want to do a drone photography with is going to be something with a few more acres, with a pool, with a pond, whatever, right?
Yeah. Which
Things that are
is
unique.
which I think is actually unique to being in a small market, because there's not a bunch of neighborhoods here. In areas like Oklahoma City, you almost have to have aerial stuff on every single listing because it's going to reflect the value of that realtor, right? Now, some realtors will go out and they'll buy a drone and they'll start shooting it on their own, which is technically illegal. Not throwing shade.
I wish I had
in
a,
which direction.
wish I had a drone.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're going to shoot any, if you're going to monetize your drone at all, if you're going to put something on YouTube and make pennies and AdSense off of it, you have to have your 107. So, and then there's also the challenge of airspace and stuff, which we don't really have out here. But yeah, there are some listings that actually need the aerial perspective because it's kind of hard to showcase the property.
Right.
This is a really unique house. It has a unique layout. It was built way back when, and it's been added on, and the layout is interesting, and so it's not for everybody, but it has this awesome piece of land, or it's got
Right.
this gigantic shop, you know, or it's got a shop over here, it's got an RV thing over here, and it's got, you know, an extra section over here that is hard to see. Like,
Sure.
you know, the aerial photos would really add value to that. But with that, it's like, you got to make sure your yard's clean. You want to make sure, I mean, I've had to move trash cans out of photos. I've had to go and hide things and bring them back out later.
Sure.
And so, yeah.
Make beds.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so that's just understood for me. Like, you're having somebody come photograph your house. Make sure your bed's made,
Yes.
please.
It just reminds me, though, that everyone is different. I mean, every one of us views a clean home in a different way. What I think is a clean home is not what you think is a clean home, is not what you think is a clean home. Like a little bit ago, we were talking about snakes before we started,
Yep.
and I was saddened because someone disposed of a snake that was on my property. I said no because I have a mouse. That little sucker, I can't get him. And I'm like, no, I need that rat snake. And I thought, as soon as I said it, I went, oh, God, I just admitted I have a mouse. But we have a field. We live across from the golf course. We have a field behind us. Like, holy heck, you just can't. And I guess evidently that my dog doesn't catch mice, just the rabbits, the turtles, the frogs. Okay, anyway, you immediately went, no kidding. Like, we have different ideas about how things look.
Yep.
So that being said, like you say something like that and somebody goes, eek, but my floors are mopped, the beds are made. But like today, my bed's not made. Like it's just I throw the covers up and I go,
But I'm not
it's
coming
made.
to shoot your house today.
No. But I can see how someone else who never ever throws the covers up
Sure.
would think, oh, I threw the covers up. I made the bed. Like we all have just a different way that we've lived and that we've done things. And so if you're not sure what we mean when we say the photographer's coming, make sure everything looks nice, neat, and clean, ask us. Like,
Yeah.
what are you
yeah.
talking about? Are you talking about like military make the bed? No,
Yes.
I'm talking Better Home and Gardens make the bed.
If you say yes, then maybe it'll get made.
To home and garden standards.
Yes. I mean, so and you're exactly right. The ambiguity of like cleanliness and standards
what's
and
it
things,
mean?
like it is different for everybody. And honestly, it's been a couple of years now. I've been meaning to make a checklist. Do this, do this, do this. Don't do this. Make sure
Yes.
this is. I mean, I just need to do it. I can chat GPT it. Probably get pretty close.
We have a really great video system actually that we forget to send out ahead of time, and it would help. So really, you could just be like, hey, send your little video.
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, so there was a house we shot recently that we walked in and like another thing is the kitchen. Oh my gosh, the kitchen. Your dish rack, your dishes are clean. Congratulations, great job. I don't want to see them. I
Again,
can't.
yes.
Like your counters
Let's
need
get
to
some
be
counter space.
devoid. Like my job is to make this space look as big as possible.
Right.
When your counter is cluttered, your kitchen looks smaller, and it just looks gross. Clean your countertops. Like if I put my hand on your counter and it feels like sandpaper, ugh, you'd be surprised the things I can capture with this camera, right?
Right.
So, but that just goes back to, you know, shooting with other people in mind. Like you want other people to be able to envision themselves in your space.
Yes.
And so toiletries in the bathroom.
Oh, man.
Oh, undergarments. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Which goes back to you get into a habit, like you hang up your stuff when you get out of the shower, out of the washing machine. You hang it up to dry, and then you completely forget about it.
Well, I'm
and
just
you're so
talking like
used to seeing it, you don't remember to take it down before the
I
photographer
shot
comes.
this beautiful home. It was a big home, like expensive home, beautiful master bathroom. Their stuff was everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Like they didn't clean their bathroom at all.
Right.
Like bras everywhere. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Okay, well, I guess I gotta hide these.
Right.
Like, you know, and it's just like it makes my job just harder in that sense of like I'm in somebody else's personal space. However, my job is to help sell your home. So that is when I call the realtor, call Kendra and say, hey, did you know XYZ? Let them know I've moved this.
Right.
You know, and the other thing is like I don't touch medicine,
Nope.
anything like that. If that's out, I would actually be like, I can't shoot this today. Please come and
Right.
like, because like that's a security thing for me. Like I am accountable. I'm in somebody else's space, and if I have to move something or whatever, like I'm gonna make sure I put it back where it went. But there are other security things like medicine, guns, anything like that. I am not touching. You know, like that's just a thing that nobody thinks about. Like, oh, real estate photography. I want to make sure my floors are vacuumed, and you know all the lights
other
are
pillows on
on,
the
and
couch
toilet seats
and-
are down, and but it's like you don't think about it, all this other stuff.
We do
that goes
really
into it.
appreciate good vacuum lines, though.
Oh yeah, bring it on. All the vacuum lines. So real quick story time. Speaking of like being in other people's homes, I shot a hunting ranch, and it had this huge house on it. But I got there and like I didn't have a bunch of cell service, and I called the listing agent. I was like, hey, I just want to make sure I'm here and this is right. He's like, oh yeah, the key's under the mat. Or the key's hanging to the right of the door. It's like, okay. I walk in. I felt like I intruded on somebody's day because the beds were unmade. There was like
Right.
towels on the like it's like these people had just left or something, and I was like, oh my gosh,
I'm in the wrong house.
it was terrifying. Honestly, like I'm in like the middle of nowhere. So if somebody pulls a gun on me, I'm toast. Like I'm absolutely toast. So like it was not photo ready.
Right.
It was not photo ready at all. So I called the listing agent back. Hey, just want to make sure this is right. Yes. Okay. Well, it looks like this. Is it okay if I make the beds, do the thing? Because like it's a big listing. He's nowhere to be found. They are out, like gone. Like this is the only time I have to do this. So I cleaned the house before I took the photos.
So if you want your house cleaned, Nathan's number is
580-334-2303.
and we'll list that sucker.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into taking pictures of a home, and it's not just about the pictures. It's about making sure people see your house in the way that you'd like them to see it. So
Exactly.
my job is to get out of your way, out of the realtor's way, out of my way, and photographing your home in a way that makes people hit that like call number on the agent's phone number.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate your input and your guidance. So, quick recap: make sure your bulbs are the same.
Please.
Make your beds.
Make your beds like Better Home and Gardens or military, whichever you choose.
Yep.
But put away personal things. Make sure that your blinds are in well kept condition.
Yep.
Guns and ammo.
Yep.
Put those
Photos
in
of
the
your
gun
family,
safe.
get that put away. You know, depersonalize, declutter. Go listen to a couple weeks episodes ago and listen to that and do all those tips to get you well on your way.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So thank y'all.
Thanks for listening to the Brian and Kendra Show. I'm Brian Cook, 580-334-2303.
I'm Kendra Brown, 580-216-0090.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.